For years, Apple has had this one thing they said they would never, ever do. But now it looks like that's all about to change. A new report is suggesting the company is getting ready to release a Mac that you can finally actually touch. Yep, you heard that right. A touchscreen Mac. It's the one feature that's been talked about and wished for, and frankly, completely dismissed by Apple for over a decade. But it looks like that long-standing resistance is about to crumble. So let's unpack what's going on here. So the huge headline from a new Bloomberg report is that Apple's very first Mac with a touchscreen is reportedly on its way. And look, this isn't just some small update. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we might interact with our computers. And the report gets really specific. The first Mac to get this treatment is expected to be the M6 MacBook Pro. And it's not just getting a touchscreen, it's also getting a brand new OLED display. Now, this is a huge deal. OLED means you get those deep, inky blacks and way more vibrant colors. So you're not just getting a new way to interact with a screen, you're getting a major visual upgrade, too. But hold on, the changes don't stop with the screen itself. The report says the whole top of the display is getting a major facelift. And they're bringing over a fan-favorite feature from the iPhone for the very first time. That's right, it looks like we can say goodbye to the notch on the MacBook Pro. I mean, it was a pretty controversial design choice when it first showed up, and now it seems like it's already on its way out. So what's replacing it? Well, if you have a recent iPhone, you'll know this one, the dynamic island. Instead of that static black cutout for the camera, the new design is going to be built around a much smaller hole punch camera, and it'll use software to create this awesome interactive UI element. Interestingly, the report says the Mac's version of the dynamic island will actually be a bit smaller than the one on the iPhone, but the real magic is in the software, which will blend that little camera cutout into a really useful space for alerts, timers, music, you name it. Okay, so adding a touchscreen to a Mac is one thing, but that's just the hardware part. The real challenge, the big one, is making an operating system that was designed from the ground up for a mouse and keyboard actually feel good to use with your fingers. So let's look at how Apple's reportedly solving this puzzle. The main idea here is something called a dynamic user interface. The goal isn't to force you into a touch-only experience, not at all. Instead, macOS will be smart enough to know how you're trying to interact with it, and it'll adjust the controls right then and there. And this is where it gets really clever. Picture this. You go to touch a small button on the screen. The Mac recognizes that you're using your finger, and boom! A new, larger menu of options pops up right around your fingertip, making it super easy to hit what you want. It's not about making you more precise. It's about the OS meeting you halfway. And there's more. A bunch of other gestures we all know from our iPhones are supposedly coming over too. Things like fast scrolling with your finger, pinch to zoom on photos and PDFs. Even the emoji picker is getting a touch-friendly makeover. It's all about adding these nice little layers of convenience. Now, this is a super important point that the report really drives home. Apple is not trying to turn the Mac into a giant iPad. The keyboard and the trackpad are still king. They will remain the primary ways you use your Mac. Touch is just coming in as a third complementary option. So when you put it all together, the OLED screen, the dynamic island, and especially the touch screen, it really does feel like this could be a massive shift for the Mac. But like with any huge change, there's always one big question that pops up. I mean, really, after all these years, is this a feature that people have actually been begging for? Or is this just a solution looking for a problem? Because the feedback on this report, well, it's pretty divided, to say the least. In fact, the top-rated comment on the original article is super skeptical. This person argues that for most of us, a touchscreen on a laptop is just a pointless feature that adds to the cost. They even say an improved touch bar would have been a better idea. It's a really strong counter-argument to all the hype. So, with all this debate, you're probably wondering, when could we actually see this? It's really important to get the timeline straight. The report says that while new M5 MacBooks are expected literally next week, this radical redesign, the M6 MacBook Pro with Touch, isn't scheduled to show up until the fall of 2026. Which, of course, leaves us with the million-dollar question. Is a touchscreen Mac going to be the revolution we've been waiting for? Something that's going to totally change how we use our computers for the better? Or could it end up being another one of Apple's big, ambitious experiments that just fizzles out, like the Touch Bar? I guess only time will tell.